Hello and welcome back to Creators Dementia Revamped. Now, I know with the episodes recently put out there, I was saying Creators Dementia episode 10 and things like that, but on Podbean, the previous episodes are not on there. So, I am going to start it off with just saying Creators Dementia Revamped. I'm not going to do episode lists anymore, for that simple reason. But in today's episode, we are going to do a tips for new writers type episode. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say welcome and thank you for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. This is a passion of mine. Sorry, I'm getting over whatever allergy crap is going on. I don't know if I'm actually getting over it, but I have messed with all this congestion and stuff for the past 2 weeks now. So it's been a little fun trying to break it all up and just be healthy again. I am trying to be healthy. I'm actually eating healthier again and drinking healthier again for the most part. But before I get into the actual list of basically writer's advice for today's episode, I got a couple of things to announce. Excuse me. Holy crap. So, there is a thing that is going on in this town. It is a very creative thing, and it's a mini series that is being filmed around my hometown, and they were actually holding auditions for the characters, lead roles, and things like that. So I took a chance with actually auditioning for a part. Now, I have been in one movie. It's an independent movie. I didn't have no speaking roles or anything like that. It was called Soldier's Joy. I was a Confederate soldier. I was in a couple of scenes, not very many of them, but it was fun. It was a good experience, and I wanted to actually learn a little bit more with it, so that's what I did. I went and got in that movie, and unfortunately I can't find it anywhere, which I guess is fine because I know like a lot of professional actors. I'm not professional whatsoever, but a lot of professional actors don't even actually watch their own movie because honestly, I don't know why, but if it's anything like my thought process, I'd probably cringe at myself just because I know it's me. But I auditioned for a lead role in this miniseries, and I got a call back. So I get to try again. So that's awesome. They are considering me for a lead role. So who knows? Maybe it'll work out, and I'll have a chance to do more of what I'm passionate about. So that is awesome. And as it gets filmed, hopefully the team will allow me to do updates, through these podcasts and stuff, and I can give you guys a heads up on what's going on. So fingers crossed that I actually can be a part of it. And I even offered my services as a photographer to do like behind the scenes shoots if needed. But so far, I am considered to be an actor for this miniseries. So I'm so proud. I'm so excited. I took a chance, and the chance kind of worked out so far. So woohoo! Another thing, this happened Friday. A friend of mine named Alan asked me to help him do a womanless pageant to raise money for our local cheerleaders to afford a trip to Orlando for a championship thing. And his daughter's a cheerleader, so that's why, he was in it. And, of course, me and him are really good friends. When we do our cosplay, he is Spider-Man and Deadpool, and I dress up as Captain America, Star-Lord, things like that. But he asked me to join, so I did. I was in a womanless pageant. And we didn't win, but it was fun. We raised a lot of money for the cheerleaders, so hopefully they'll actually be able to afford that trip to go and do their cheerleading championship thing. So I'm very proud of that. And excuse me, I'm telling you, I cannot get rid of this mess. Okay, hopefully it's gone. And one more thing, we got asked to do a birthday party as our cosplay characters. I got dressed up as Captain America, he dressed up as Spider-Man, so that was fun. So we're hoping that maybe that'll take off a little bit since it's getting warmer and things are starting to kind of level out. You know, they're not leveling out the best, but you know, people are trying to get back to normal. People are, you know, attempting to live their life again. So hopefully we can actually get out there and do more things like we would love to do. You know, create smiles, laughter. I know it sounds corny, but it's true. You know, kids love comic book icons and everything like that. So we try to bring the comic book characters to them and hopefully, you know, just provide them with a good day. When all this mess was going around, you know, for the past couple years, we tried to do superhero shout out birthday videos for kids and stuff. And, you know, we actually did a couple of them. You know, it was completely free because we knew how times were. It was hard. People were, you know, really getting down and not living the life that, you know, God meant us to live. So we tried to help out as much as we could, and like, you know, we did a lot of birthday shout out videos dressed up as Marvel characters, so that was fun. And you know, maybe we can get back into that to help, you know, kids enjoy their birthdays more, or you know, unfortunately if there's like a kid in the hospital, you know, things like that, and you know, they can't have visitors or whatever. You know, if their parents would like a video of, you know, Captain America, Spider-Man, Thor, which I do have a Thor cosplay, Star-Lord. Don't have an Iron Man yet, but he has Spider-Man and Deadpool. So, you know, if kids would want to do, you know, hear a birthday shout out from these characters, you know, hopefully we can do that again if, you know, they're looking for something like that. Ooh, I gotta drink a lot of water. But yeah, that's been the update for the past week. I'm also reading a story a friend of mine has written. I'm kind of beta reading / editing a little bit, you know, trying to get it to where he wants it to be, and it's just an amazing story. I can't give you details because it's not out there. It's just over here on print paper, and it's a really good story. Like, I love it. And it's called Fate's the Dark Legacy. Yeah. And like, every time I pick it up, like, I get sucked into it. It's amazing. And I'm hoping that once he gets it released out there, that you guys will be able to enjoy it. The author's name is Larry Toller, and his writing is just amazing. I cannot brag about this book enough. So once he actually gets it out there, I'll keep you guys updated, and, you know, maybe you want to check it out, but I don't want to give you too many details on it until he's ready for the entire world to actually see the details on it. Maybe when he gets the blurb written, he'll let me see it, and then I can kind of present it to you guys. So that's all the updates I have. So let's get right down to the topic. These are tips for new writers. I wish I could have known some of these, and some of these I've actually done or do. Like, there's one specific one on here that I do every time I write a book. I always start with this one specific point, which if you guys listen to my interview with Carly Beebe, you know what I'm talking about. She's in previous episodes. The last 3 that I've done was an interview with her, and she was just amazing, and I love doing the interviews for it. So hopefully you guys actually listened or watched on YouTube, and, you know, listened on Podbean or TuneIn or Listen Notes. Hoping to hear back from Pandora. Haven't heard back yet. I'm kind of thinking, since it's been this long, it's probably a no-go. But who knows? You know, I could get a nice little surprise email saying, "Hey, you're on Pandora now," which would be amazing. Anyways, the first tip I want to talk about is, you know, a lot of people agree with this, and I do myself. I agree with this. It all depends on how much of it you actually do. So the first tip is read a lot. Read stuff that's similar to the things that you love to, you know, read or write about. So that way you can get the concept of how your story should flow. You know, you're not going to pick up every great book out there. You could pick up a book and you just completely hate it, but for those types of books you can actually learn from on where you need to take your story to. So say if you are trying to write a horror novel, of course the best one to go to would be Stephen King. And little side note, in some of his books I've noticed, which is fine by me because he's a terrific writer, there are, even past his edits, there are some mistakes. So even if you have mistakes in your book, it is okay. You want to try and fix them beforehand, before you get it to print. But, some things kind of slip through the cracks, but the books are still phenomenal. So you're never going to be that perfect writer, but it's always good to learn and get examples of the genre or the style that you're going for. So read a lot. I didn't really read hardly any zombie apocalypse books, and I should have before I started writing. But my motivation, not only was it from movies more than anything, but my friends' outtakes on things like that, on zombie apocalypse and any type of apocalyptic scenario. That's where I got all my flow from. But I would have loved to have actually I keep almost stuttering, and I'm trying to keep myself from doing that. So if I pause, that's why. But I should have actually read more apocalyptic genre novels, so that way I could have gotten a better flow for my books. And another side note here, talking about my books, Zed's Rising. What I'm actually doing with it, because it is my first book, and I've said this so many times, I made a lot of mistakes in it. I really did. I did not give it the proper attention and care that it deserved. So what I'm actually doing with it right now is I'm making a second edition. I'm going to pull the first one off the shelf. I don't want to, but it needs to be done because it's not what I wanted it to be, and that is my own fault. I should have paid closer attention. I should have done my research, but I didn't. So Zed's Rising is going to get a second edition, and hopefully it'll set the tone for the rest of my writing career. Because book 2, I went through all the proper stages, and it flows so much better than the first book. So hopefully I can get Zed's Rising to where it truly needs to be. But yes, do your research, read a lot, get your genre going, look at the flow of things. Make sure this is the writing style you want to do. It never hurts to do research. You're not taking time out of your writing, you're putting time into your writing. I know research seems like, unless you just love, the knowledge of looking things up, research is going to seem like a drag, but it truly does help. I'm researching many things right now to try and get this going more, and I'm even trying to research more photography to get my camera business going, because there's a lot I still need to learn. What I would consider myself is and I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I am a talented amateur. I'm not a professional. And one day I hope to become a professional. I would love to actually take a proper photography class if I can ever find the time. So I'm working towards things, and I'm doing proper research. So always look into what you need to, if that makes any sense. I know that was kind of staggered a little there and not very specific, but do your research. That's what I'm trying to say. Another tip, it does come in handy, and this actually comes with the whole research thing. It's write about what you know. Now, what you know now, say you are a murder mystery thriller, and that's what you're passionate about. You can write that. That's what you know. That's what you're trying to learn. So yes, write what you know. But if you're trying to branch out into another genre, learn it, get your flow, and then you can write that, and that'll also be writing what you know. So never underestimate what you can actually learn, and never underestimate your potential, because the more you know, kind of like the star in the rainbow, the more you know. But the more you know, the better off you'll be. So if you are trying to switch genres, like I have tried before, I'm not going to talk about that little project, but there is a lot dealing with other genres. Like it is actually hard to write fantasy. Now, I know a bunch of author friends that love writing fantasy. That is their thing, and I applaud them so awesomely, because their world building is beyond my comprehension. Like I can do apocalypse crap till the day I die, because that's crap I know. That's the stuff that I've always liked to learn. But there is a project that I'm working on. I think I may have mentioned it. Estrella. It is paranormal and murder and things like that. Like I haven't really placed it into a complete genre yet, but I've had to do research on it, so that way I could learn it, and that way I could actually write it, because that way, what I know is what I can write. And that's the main thing. I cannot stress enough, do the research. So another important quality to have with your writing, use your own voice. Have your own voice out there. Do not say you grab a Dean Koontz book, and you like his writing style, of course, and you like his paranormal take on things, and you're like, I would love to do something like that, but do not be Dean Koontz. Be yourself. Like if he has one perspective of seeing spirits, like in his books, the spirits don't talk. They show up to Odd Thomas. Odd Thomas is one of my favorite characters he's ever written about. But they'll show up to him. They will guide him to whoever actually murdered them, but they cannot say a word. For some odd reason, they do not speak, but they can appear. So, that's an interesting take on spirits roaming around the world and things like that. But I would suggest, if you're the one writing a book like that, to add your own spin to it. Say maybe you can only hear the voice, but you can't see them. Something like that. I'm not saying use that specific type of quality in your writing, but have your own way of actually telling how the story goes and how the characters are and all the attributes that come with it. Having your own voice makes you unique, and it will bring you more to where you want to go. So basically, have your own voice. That's the best thing to do. I haven't done this since high school, this next tip, but I think I tried. I did go to college, but unfortunately the college I went to for creative writing really didn't teach me anything about creative writing. So if you can actually find a creative writing course, it would not hurt to take it. They can teach you proper sentence structure, punctuation. I know you learn this stuff in high school and middle school and elementary school, all schools. But, if you're like me, as you get older, you kind of forget stuff. Like when I was in school, I was a perfect speller. Like it was amazing how I could do it. But now, as I've gotten older, I have to use predictive text a lot. I don't know why, but my brain just does not operate on proper spelling anymore. And it sucks. But I guess that's the whole point of predictive text. Save time and actually spell words that you forgot how to spell. But, it does not hurt to take a creative writing course. I wish there was a nice little community college in my town. That way maybe I could do something like that, but there's not. There's a side college about 38 miles away maybe. But it would be completely nice to actually be able to take a creative writing course, because I would benefit tremendously from a creative writing course. So if you can, take one. It's like in the interview me and Carly did, past 3 episodes. she was talking about how she actually went to a creative writing course, and she done that just to kind of spark inspiration. And, I agree with her. It worked for her, and she done pretty good. So, if, I don't know, creative writing course would not hurt. That's all I'm saying. It would not hurt at all to broaden your knowledge with creative writing. And maybe eventually I'll take one. It'd be nice if like one of the local teachers around here was just like, hey, I'm going to host a creative writing course. I'd join it just so I can get some more knowledge about it. Because in all honesty, I really need it. But I'm not doing too bad with my books. Well, with sales wise, it's not that great, but writing it, like, I'm just going to say creative writing course would not be that bad to do. So this next tip, I would say I'm kind of like in the middle with this one. They say pick a genre. Now, if you are just solely obsessed with the genre and that's all you want to stick with, perfectly fine. No, nothing wrong with that. But if you're like me, you kind of want to broaden yourself a little bit. And so I'm trying not to only stick with one genre. I'm trying to advance into other ones. Proper research. But it's like Stephen King, he sticks with horror. Tom Clancy sticks with, all the military and the corruption and the crime and the court, stuff like that. That's what he does. James Patterson does the same thing. But, they all have their own specific genre. George R.R. Martin. I've actually got a futuristic book over there that him and some other author wrote. But, of course, you all know his Game of Thrones series. So, he's kind of went through a different genre aspect every now and again. And I would like to do the same because there's so many different readers out there and so many people obsessed with different genres that it would not actually hurt to go into different genres. So like I said, with this tip, I'm kind of in the middle. With your first book that you're going to write, of course, stick with the genre that you know and, stay with that genre. And then after you get some experience, expand yourself. I do not see a problem with that, and I don't see why people would say only stick to one genre because there's so many genres out there. You can go horror thriller or horror, just thriller. You can go autobiography, memoir, fiction, fan fiction, nonfiction, historical fiction. There's so many genres out there. You really don't have to just stick to one as long as you do the proper research on how to write those other genres. So, and there's even erotica and, like 50 Shades of Grey and stuff like that. So I can't completely agree with stick to your genre, but I do agree with doing genres that you know. I guess that's the best way to put it. Now, see, this next one, this is what I've always done. I didn't even know it was an actual writing tip or writing advice. It's just how my brain functions. And some people, they can't function this way, and it's fine. Everybody has their own niche when it comes to writing their books, but it says to write your ending first. That's what I've always done. It helps me decide where I want to go, and then I can just kind of fill it in as I proceed. Now, usually what I do is I'll think of the ending. I'll be like, okay, that's where I need to be, or that's where I need to go, not where I need to be. That's where I'm going. So, and then I can pick. I can straight up do the beginning. I'll be like, okay, so this is how I'm going to start it. This should catch the reader's eye. It's always the middle where I get stuck. That's where I have the most problems because I'm trying to figure out if it's too boring or too detailed or not enough detail, or I'll put my characters in a situation that I'm be like, okay, yeah, I can get there, and then when I finish that situation or that that little plot, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense because if they're here, they're not going to get there. So if I got to leave this here, I need to get them over here. That way they can get over there. It's a little difficult, But if you know where you're going to take your story, you can figure out the proper way to actually get there. And so, writing the ending first, that's what I do. I know some people that can't do that, but it's still a good technique. So even if you want to try it out, you're more than welcome to. It may help you and it may not, but it helps me. Like, I know how the entire Zed's trilogy is going to end. I've had that in my head since I began writing. I just actually got to do the writing. And the Australia novel, I know how it's going to end. And my Legion's Dawn, I do know how it's going to end. I totally forgot how I planned that out. Like I said, I'm stuck in the middle of Zed's Apocalyptica. I'm stuck in the middle of Australia, and I'm stuck in the middle of Legion's Dawn. But the only other project that I don't know the ending of yet is 24 Hours in the Zombie Apocalypse. I know what I'm doing. I know how I've got it set up, but I don't properly know where I'm going to end it. So my mind kind of changed with that one, my technique, I should say. So if I can figure that out, then maybe I have a shot at continuing and getting it out there. So yeah, if you want to actually start with the ending, that way you can figure out where you got to go. Perfect. And sorry if you heard my phone ring. I forgot to turn it on vibrate. I have been getting telemarketer calls for the past 4 days. It's very annoying. I'm fixing to answer and ask them if they would like to extend their car warranty. Ugh. So, second to last writing tip, and this is common sense. And unfortunately, I did not use common sense with my first book, but it happens, I guess. Like I said, but I'm trying to change it. Doing a second edition. Anyway, sorry, digressing. But this next tip, do a first draft. A first draft does not have to be perfect. It is just you putting your story on paper or on the screen. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be completely detailed. It doesn't even have to make sense, as long as you know what you're doing. First draft is just supposed to be, as it's named, a rough draft. Do not get depressed or sad or discouraged. I said that very weirdly. Do not get discouraged over your first draft, because that is not the perfected work that you're going to put out there. Now, speaking from experience, Zed's Rising was basically a first draft. I know, that's horrible. It sucks. I was young and naive. I mean, I wasn't that young, but I was very naive. I had all these expectations, but I did not do the proper work. So Zed's Rising is basically a first draft. Even though people liked it, I've even gotten notes about it on how to improve it, which is a plus, because always need the advice, always need the help. But do not let your first draft become your final draft, and do not get discouraged about your first draft. It is a rough draft. Let it be that rough draft, and then you polish it, you edit it, you clear it up, you run it through, get that second draft, go over it again. Now, if you can honestly give me a good, decent book with just two runs of drafts, I applaud you, because that is just amazing. I can't do that. I don't know of anybody that actually can do that, but if you can, that is just perfect. That is great. I will shake your hand. But always remember, first draft is a rough draft, and that's where you just basically put down your ideas. Don't ever think a rough draft is horrible, because it is horrible, but it's not the type of horrible that you would probably see. It is the type of horrible that just isn't polished. So don't ever let the rough draft just turn you away from writing. There's always all kinds of readers and help out there that can help you turn it into the golden manuscript that you pictured it to be. I've learned that. I'm going to use that And I recommend any new writer out there to do the same thing. There's unlimited resources. Use those resources. And the last tip I'm going to talk about, it does get frustrating. It will keep you guessing your talent. But do a self-edit. Now, you can pay people to edit, or you can, get a friend that, is decent with writing to edit your work as well. But, with edits, it's always good for you to edit the first round. You can see your own mistakes, and there's two ways to edit. You can edit as a reader, and you can edit as a writer. And it is two different things. Editing as a reader is trying to catch and see if the story will actually bring you into it, to catch your eye, see if if it's interesting, if it's worthy of actually getting into the hands of another reader. That's basically editing as a reader. You pick apart the things that help it flow and make sure that it actually flows properly. Now, editing as a writer is more structured. It's punctuation, sentence fragments, sentence structure. It's all that stuff. So, do not be afraid to actually edit your work yourself anytime. If you edit the first draft, I don't know why I'm having trouble talking. If you edit the first draft and then you send it to somebody, after you polish it up a little bit, of course, you actually do your edits, and you send it to somebody, and then they send it back to you, and say that their edits were good. You put their edits in there. Read through it again, because you may have to self-edit once again. So, do not be afraid to actually self-edit your own work, because you know what you're going for, and the more of your eye that's on that, the better off you will be, because you can actually see where it's headed, and the more eyes you actually have on your work, it will help you structure it and polish it to where it needs to be. So, do not be afraid to self-edit. Now, I'm pretty sure I've taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate all the listeners and the entire audience I have. I'm so happy that you guys tune into this. I guess the next episode I'm going to do will be a zombie talk again, because that's my thing. I love talking about zombies, and I haven't done it since, I think, last month, I guess. So the next episode will be a zombie talk. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or anything like that. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, leave a comment down below. If you're listening on Podbean, tune in, listen notes. I'm not sure how the comments work, if there are actually any, but if you can, go for it. I would be more than happy to answer back, or if you have any topics you would like for me to actually address, I'd be more than happy to do that as well. So I just want to say again, thank you guys for being awesome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you actually watching the video of this, I really appreciate it. This is something that I'd love to do. I'm going to continue doing. And if you've noticed, I'm actually keeping a proper schedule. Holy crap. My time management skills are improving, and I love it. But I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. Have a blessed day, and thank you for tuning in to Creators Dementia. We are going to continue this. We are going to continue being awesome, and I am going to I got to go film myself auditioning for the part I was talking about earlier in this episode. So, yay! Woohoo! Love you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. I will catch you next time. See ya.
Look, I'm a zombie.